Hi everyone, this is the first of several build videos I'll share which will walk through this build from start to finish. I'll show the steps I took to turn this van, which is a ProMaster 2500 high roof 170-inch wheelbase, into this four-season camper van which has a queen bed, a shower, a toilet, a kitchen sink, a microwave, a fridge and freezer, swivel seats, and a power system with lithium batteries, shore power, solar, and van charging. It also has much more, so stay tuned to see the build progress. The first thing we installed was the subfloor. Completing this first makes it easier to walk around in the van as it's being worked on. It also protects the metal underneath from scratches. The van is fully insulated, which includes the floor, so we use 3/4 inch foam board insulation along with 1x3s, which are 3/4 inch thick as well. This will support the plywood subfloor. We basically place the 1x3s every so often, glued them down to the van metal floor to reduce the likelihood of squeaks, put the foam board insulation in between, and put birch plywood on top. This made for a strong, insulated, and even surface to put the flooring directly onto. We did this working front to back, putting in 3 sections to complete the entire 12-foot length of the floor. The next thing to go in was the MaxxAir fan. This fan has a couple of cool features. It can be set as an exhaust to move air out of the van or be reversed and blow air inside the van like a fan. It also has a thermostat feature that lets you set a temp, and as soon as it reaches that temp on a hot day, the fan will turn on and you can circulate cooler air from outside in to keep the van from getting hot. To install, just measure out on top of the van where you want the fan to be located inside the van and then cut a hole. Make sure wherever you have bare cut metal you touch up with paint to help prevent rust. The top of the van is uneven and the fan housing is flat, of course, so I used butyl tape to build up between the ribs of the van so the fan could be put into place and make a good seal all the way around. Once the fan was set into place, screw it in from the top. I put support boards underneath inside the van to give the screws something solid to sink into. This also helps later for finishing the sealing. I then used marine sealant on top to seal the screw holes and around the edge of the fan. And that's pretty much it for the fan for now. We'll connect the fan to the 12-volt DC system at a later time. Next was solar. We installed 4 Rich Solar 12-volt 100-watt panels for a total of 400 watts of solar. These were installed on a low-profile rack system made up of a WeatherGuard ProMaster rack mounted kit that attached directly to the connection points on the top of the van. No drilling holes in the roof needed for mounting the rack. You can see them here with the red caps. Once those were in place, we connected the 4 panels together on a table with aluminum angle iron from Home Depot or Lowe's. We then moved the structure up onto the van and attached it as a single piece directly to the rack rails. We wired the panels in parallel to deliver 400 watts at 12 volts to our MPPT charge controller from Renogy. We did cut a hole in the roof to run the cabling through and used a cable gland to ensure it was secured and weatherproof. And that's it for the solar install. The next thing we did was install the air conditioning. The AC we used is a Dometic RTX 1000 12-volt model. The 12-volt model is ideal for the application we wanted it for, as it allows the AC to be used without the inverter, saving on the inverter's electrical overhead. The AC install was a bit trickier than the fan for a couple of reasons. First, it's much heavier than the fan, so physically you have to be more careful with hoisting it up and laying it on top of the van to avoid scratches. Also, it sticks down into the van a fair amount, so you have to determine where the finished ceiling is going to be, and if the AC is going to stick down into the van lower than you'd like, use a shim on top of the van to adjust the height. There's also the issue of uneven roof ribs, which is more complicated than the fan due to the weight. So again, with the AC unit, measure a few times and cut a hole. Be sure to paint the bare metal edges to minimize the chances of rust developing. Once the hole's cut, it's fairly straightforward to put the adapter in place, put the shim in place, and finally the AC unit itself, and then seal everything with the recommended sealant. I ended up using the adapter and shim from DIY Van, which solved both of these issues and made the install much easier. The adapter is specific to the van and is created with a CNC machine, so it fits perfectly into the ribs of your specific van to create a perfect seal. Once it's in place and sealed down, we secured it to the van with the provided crossbars. This secures it to prevent any movement. And that's it. Here's what it looks like installed underneath from inside the van before the finished sealing, and then again what it looks like on top of the van. That's all for now. It will be connected to the 12-volt system later. The final external piece was installing the C.R. Lawrence window. This was one of the more straightforward things we did to the van. The window has a T-vent that can be opened and has a screen. This works well with the Max fan. When it's in exhaust mode, the window can be opened to allow fresh air in. We started, of course, by measuring things out, creating a cardboard template of what the window opening needed to be, and then taping it to the van in the spot we wanted it. We then cut a giant hole in the van wall and hoped it was correct, and it was. Installation is pretty easy. After that, you put the window in place, have someone hold it, and put the clamp ring on the inside and screw it in. The clamp ring creates a watertight seal between the window and the van metal. This is what it looks like from inside the van, and then again from outside. And that's it for the window. So that's pretty much it for external items at this point. And that's it for this video. Thanks for watching, and check back for the next one, which will cover framing the inside of the van.